What up, Fins fans? I am the Frozen Fins fan. I'm from North Pole, Alaska. Uh, I've been talking to myself and my family about starting up a little YouTube channel about the Dolphins for a while, and I didn't really want to start it like if they were doing good. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was a little bit apprehensive about starting it this year, and I was thinking I would wait till the off season. Um, but I can't wait any longer. I know the season's over. They just lost to the Chiefs, and I tell you what, I could smell the stink all the way up here in Alaska from that game. Um, I'm going to get into a little bit about what I saw, and I mean, you guys can argue with it, or you can comment, or you can agree with it, whatever you want to do. I just felt like I needed to get some of this out, and if it turns out to be something I enjoy, I'll keep doing it. Something you guys like, maybe I'll keep making videos. But um, for this one, it was pretty bad watching that game. Well, aside from the fact that Peacock decided to take a monopoly on that game and make it to where nobody could watch it unless they paid $7 for a month membership or whatever. Um, Good job, NFL, on that one. That's fantastic decision making. Uh, but watching this game, I mean, it was, you guys know, I mean, it was hard to watch. And kudos to the Chiefs. They did what they needed to do to win the game. Mahomes didn't really have a great game, but he had a serviceable game, and he didn't make mistakes. Uh, Pacheco was held in check for the most part. The only one that did any good, really, that was unstoppable was Rice. Rashee Rice. He was, like I said, kudos to the Chiefs. He was amazing. Good play calling by Andy Reid, especially in the first half. Oh my goodness. Seems like everything he called was right on the money. Can't say anything about the Chiefs there. What I can say is everybody's going to want to be blaming the defense. Everybody's going to want to say, "Oh, they didn't really stop anybody." Clearly, we're watching a different game. Um, I, I've been watching football for a long time, as I'm sure some of you guys have. Most of you guys, maybe a lot of you, I don't know. But watching that game, the defense wasn't the problem, guys. I hate to say it. We know we had, 7 out of 11 of our starters on defense out, and I don't have the stats right in front of me, but they weren't that bad. They did pretty decent for having none of our starters and a bunch of practice squad players. Uh, David Long was making plays. He was one of the few on defense that I saw making plays. David Long, and I feel like the guys that we had just signed, Justin Houston and a couple others, they did what they could do, with less than a week of preparation. 4 or 5 days? And that's like 3 practices when you have to travel to Kansas City. But I've been a football fan for a long time. I've played a lot of football, pee wee, high school, college. So I'm not coming at you from a place where I don't know what I'm talking about. I've been watching football for a long time, especially the defensive side. And like I said, holding the Chiefs to a bunch of field goals essentially, which is what they did. I was really not disappointed in our defense, but I'm not really here to talk about the defense. This game was not on the defense. This game was solely on Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel. This was on them. There's no other way to put it, guys. I mean, we could say so many different things. We could put little blame on a play here or a play there on players, but ultimately, when you look at that game, start to finish, it was Tua and Mike McDaniel that weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Absolutely horrendous play calling, start to finish, by Mike McDaniel. How many times are we going to run a flat pass or a screen pass when it's 3rd and 6? There was at least 3 or 4 times when that happened. You don't call a screen pass on 3rd and 6, especially in this kind of weather. You don't. How many times did we drop those passes? 4 or 5 times. In those screen passes where passes were dropped, kicked out of bounds, or, ruled incomplete depending on how they were thrown. But I mean, that's unacceptable on the professional level. I mean, it's unacceptable on a high school level. This is North Pole, Alaska, and we have high school football teams that can execute better in snow and cold. It's 21 below right now, ambient. No wind chill, just 21 below, straight up cold as ass. And here I am watching this game when they're playing in 7 below with a little bit of wind, right? Yeah, maybe it's 25, 24 below, whatever it was, with the wind chill. There's no excuse. There's none. We can say they're not a cold weather team, they're not used to it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's football. You have ways to get warm, you have ways to get cold. You go on the field, you get cold. If you want to get warm, get off the field. If your offense, score a touchdown and get off the field and go get warm. If your defense, make a freaking stop. They did make stops, but it was so late that they had to have field goals. But once again, with the way the defense was playing, I really didn't expect much more than that. I figured we had to score 30 points to win this game. And that's what it was. 30 points. We needed 30. It's a shame. Obviously, I'm disappointed as a Dolphins fan, and like I've been a Dolphins fan since I was 2, and I'm 41 years old. So that's a long time of watching this team do this. I'm not going to blame the referees, but if you watch the game, you saw it. I'll mention it, but I'm not going to blame that on that was the reason we lost this game. There was holding on almost every single play from that offensive line of the Chiefs. Every single time. And every time that Patrick Mahomes ran or scrambled, watch those plays specifically if you have the ability to. Watch them. And watch the right tackle and the right guard and the left tackle. Watch them. Holding almost every single time, to the point where our player, like Wilkins, is beyond his opponent, and he's still being pulled back on the side of his jersey, or his arm, or his neck. Like, come on, man. Anyway, the refereeing sucked. You had to expect that in Kansas City. You had to think, well, we aren't going to get any help from the refs, and we certainly didn't. A couple roughing the passer plays, or roughing the passer calls. One of them was complete crap, and the other one probably I could see it being called as roughing the passer. Holding, offensive pass interference. There was a lot of things going on, but like I said, you got to fight through that stuff if you want to be a playoff team and you want to play. Well, you don't want to, but you had to play at somebody else's home. And, why are we playing in someone else's home? I can think of 2 games that are the reason we're playing at somebody else's home. It would be the Titans game, which we should not have lost. We lost that game, obviously, but I'm saying we shouldn't have lost it. We should have stayed at their throat instead of taking the foot off the gas and letting that game slide away from us, because that's exactly what happened. And the Bills game, another game, just terrible effort from the offense. That's what I'm saying. Our number one history making offense. Let's be real, guys. They didn't do jack for the last 4 or 5 games of that season. It's pretty disappointing. I'm not saying, I'll let that for you guys to discuss. I'm not saying that we need to get rid of Tua. And I'm not saying we need to get rid of Mike McDaniel. I'm trying to remind myself that Mike McDaniel is a second-year head coach. And before that, the highest position he held was run game coordinator. I think that in order to truly, I think that we need to give him more time. It does suck because we're seeing things that you're just like, what are you thinking, Mike? Come on, man. Make a call. Make the right call. We didn't utilize the middle of the field at all, and that's one of our strong suits. And if you watch that game, There was nobody in the middle of the field, guys. They were sucking up all the middle linebackers, were coming right up into the line of scrimmage, into the run area. There was a big bubble behind those linebackers almost every single play, and we didn't even use it. Go watch the game and see how many times we sit the tight end across the field. How many times did we run the tight end across the middle? Or how many times did we put Jalen Waddle on a slant? How many times did we do those things? 0. It was hard to watch. Tua wasn't there. He was somewhere else. So I can't really say much good about Tua in this game. He made a lot of mistakes. One of them resulted in his one turnover. I think he finished like 188 yards, something like that, 190 maybe, with 1 touchdown and 1 pick. I think it was like a 64% passer rating. That's not going to cut it in the playoffs. That's not going to cut it in the regular season. And I feel like the last half of the season he definitely fell off a little bit. And I don't know what that is, why that is. I'm not venturing guesses on personal lives or anything like that. I just feel like Dolphins fans deserve more effort than what we got at the end of that season. The first year of Mike McDaniel's coaching career and the first year of this Dolphins team, really, with the players we have in the main group. The first year we were 9-8, and then this year we were 11-6. Both years we ducked out in the first round of the playoffs. Both years we limped into the playoffs. Both years we were injured beyond recognition. I don't know, you can't chalk all that up to decision making and bad quarterback play. You got to chalk that up to some of that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and we got the raw end of the deal, I think. Like I said, I don't think we deserve to win that game, and this is when things happen. This is when people make rash decisions, not people like fans like us, but our team. Ain't nobody from the team listening to me talk on YouTube, so I'm not going to offer up advice. Obviously, I'm a truck driver from Alaska. I'm not. No one's going to be calling me looking for advice, but Dolphins fans, you deserve better. And I think that our team deserves better as well. I'm a fan through and through. I'll be a Dolphins fan tomorrow. I'm a Dolphins fan right now. We got to play better. That's that simple. It's not a personnel issue. We had the players. We had some bad luck with some players getting injured, especially on defense. Whew, that hurt. And it showed. There was no way to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes tonight. It was unbelievable. It looked like last year's defense out there calling 0 blitz every play. And I'm sure there's thousands of fans sitting there watching the TV screaming, why are we letting them pass the ball over us as well? It's because they're calling 6-7-man blitzes, 8-man blitzes even at times. And even with that, there's not enough pressure. Mahomes didn't get sacked. Offensive line for us played well. I'm not even going to pretend. The holes were there for the blocks on the run plays. The only plays on running that didn't really work was when we were trying to run through the 1 and 2 holes. And I know that you have to do that sometimes to keep teams honest on defense, but it just wasn't being hit right. Offensive line played well, and as far as the offense goes, that's about all that I can say played well. So good job, offensive line, on only allowing 2 sacks against a very good Chiefs defense. And those 2 sacks were on blitz plays where they had extra pressure coming in. So good job, O-line. You had some slight mess-ups here and there. Played well. I'm just trying to make sure I cover all my bases here. It was hard to watch, guys. But anyway, here we are, waiting for the next season. And things will start happening soon with, I'm assuming there's going to be some moves. I'm sure we're going to lose some players this summer. And maybe we'll pick up some more too. Might not be the same team, but for the most part, I feel like we're going to be intact, you know. For those of you that are worried about certain players coming up on the end of their contracts, don't worry about the salary cap. It is not what everybody thinks it is. Another Dolphins YouTuber named Dudley Do Wrong said it. You know, he says the same thing. It's the salary cap gets worked around every year by every team. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm saying. Don't worry that we're not going to be able to sign the players that we need to re-sign because there's not enough money. Stephen Ross has deep pockets, and the front office of the Dolphins is pretty smart, so they'll be able to work around a lot of that stuff. I wouldn't worry there. What I would worry about is the clutch play of our quarterback and the play calling of our offense, of our coach. Mike McDaniel's got room to grow, and I'm sure he will. Like I said, I do have faith in Mike McDaniel even after tonight. As far as Tua goes, I'm kind of on the fence about it, honestly. But for me personally, I'm on the fence. I've seen how he can play. I've watched him do amazing things with the football. But when it counts, you can't be a 64% or a 64 passer rating quarterback. When it counts, you can't. You're a quarterback. You're the leader of the team. That's how that works. He needs to create some faith among his team, because what I saw tonight was a defeated quarterback. I felt like he wasn't even there. I know it was cold. I understand. But you're not going to get any sympathy from somebody who lives in North Pole, Alaska about it being cold. The coldest game I ever played football in was 27 below, ambient, with no wind. 27 below. It was a little colder with the wind chill. I just can't remember what the wind chill was, so we'll say no wind. 27 below. I was a kid. You know, I was in my 20s. And like I said, I've seen execution in cold games by much younger, much more inexperienced players that aren't getting paid. There was no excuse for what happened tonight. That's okay, guys. We'll get it. Be faithful. Enjoy the fact that we are improving. We are. It's not a big improvement from this year from last, but it is an improvement. And man, could you just imagine what it would have been like if we didn't lose our three best pass rushers? And if we had both of our cornerbacks? And if we had our middle linebacker calling plays back there? The defense doesn't play the same without Baker at middle linebacker. He's a fantastic play caller. He communicates better than almost anybody on the field. I know a lot of people don't like him because of his pass coverage, but his run defense and his leadership of that defense, it far outweighs any kind of issues that come from his pass defense. He's serviceable as a defender in passing. Everybody knows what losing our pass rushers did, our top three. We were signing practice squad players to help us. Players that have been sitting on their butts on the couch all year. Jumping off the couch on Monday going, oh, I got a phone call. Better go find out what's up. You know? Can't blame those guys. They did all they could. It's offense. What are we going to do about the offense? This wasn't supposed to be the problem. If you remember, offense was supposed to be but I'm not sure even what it is. I'm going to have to think about it a little bit, and I'll get back to you guys, but it is what it is. We lost. Congratulations to Kansas City. I hope you guys lose next week. Thanks for listening. Fin fans, stay up. That's it.